Hello, this is another episode of Empathy's Envelopes, and today I would like to share from two envelopes a collection of words about my grandfather. And I'm hoping it's not so specific to my grandfather that you can't relate to it, because the whole point of empathy is so that it's less about my experience and more about hearing and giving another person voice and allowing them to be heard. So my goal is that it may be about my grandfather, but hopefully you can hear and have a voice for yours. My grandfather was a minister and started from a small country church and ended up creating a church large enough to support a Christian school. But more than that, his ability to listen to people in need, sometimes and quite often at the expense of family, because those voices were his ministry. So this first envelope I'd like to open is called The Forgiving Sea. My mother's father, alabaster giant, looms against a tortured sky, and we stretch our colored flags along a windless tack for him to notice and somehow brighten by being bathed in the gentle focus of his electric-eyed embrace. Red we are and blackest blue, strangled green with yellow hue, fluttering frail beside this giant sail. A stranger's moan, a parishioner's howl, filled constant his canvas, wove of Samaritan soul, and pulled him to waters where only the drowning go. Ministry is called this sailing by a stranger's wind, the smallest sigh monopolized as he rapped oblivious to all but their breathy pain. While we were just jealous pennants hanging limp, who should as well have been sails lifted sacrificial on masts, bitterless and tall. I wonder, though, if Abraham's offered son didn't shiver at night, rubbing at rope burns, eyes clenched against the white, knowing he'll never again love those who will need it most. For time is love, and love ties down, and something is then a knife flashing at the tangled bonds which children, even a wife, will become. My mother's father stretches toward us one last time while we flutter tentative. Each child is enfolded briefly. Forgive me, he rustles. Hail, Captain, we stutter. Then our scheduled time is up, his yardarm already turning toward strangers who call him friend, toward eyes not searching for why, toward hands that will fold the giant gentle into that forgiving sea. This second empathy envelope is about my grandfather's funeral. Grief is universal to all of us, but I hope this too allows you to be heard, even though it's about my grandfather. This is entitled For Merlin, Who is Dead. Pallbearer, grandson, dead-eyed crystal, rigid against a cave wall, waiting for the searing beam of grief to shatter me into the spectrum of pain. For Merlin is dead, and the moon flounders lost in a breadcrumb sky. My stomach is cemented with wing dust of butterflies I've licked colorless, yet I do not shimmer. Like the grieving swarm of strangers radiant in their rainbow tears who have filled this church, Oh, Grandpa, I have nothing to show you to prove blood is more than cellophane or shrink wrap that has kept you out and me sealed in. I sit in these reserved rows up front with your opaque children and would prefer to blister among the glare of those you have polished. I have no reason to be here. I am an eerie weight, a sperm whale in vertical sleep, the moss-blind side of a Stonehenge pillar. I have only seen you as magician, through the odd eyes of others. Tribute speeches are given as opulous, though they feel like soldiers dicing for your cloak. It takes 8 of us to carry you to a frozen hole and the knowing cold that never will you scoop me up into your crescendo gaze and say, I see the gentle monster of me in you. Ah, here comes the agony of sunlight. Thank you again for listening to Empathy's Envelopes. I hope to do a few more of these. Thanks for your ear, and thank you for allowing my voice. All for now.